All right, I want to welcome everyone to this week's edition of the Northern Nerdcast, where we showcase the geeky and nerdy people, groups, and events that happen in and around the Edmonton area. The Northern Nerdcast is a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network, powered by ATB. Please feel free to head on over to albertapodcastnetwork.com for a list of amazing Alberta-made podcasts. Also, we would like to encourage anyone out there that if you enjoy this episode, if you can, just share it with your friends on social media. This way, we are able to help grow the community here in Edmonton and keep everyone up to date on the latest news and information regarding the geeky and nerdy people, groups, and events that happen in and around the city. Also, if you or someone you know would like to be featured on this show, please feel free to contact us over at northernnerdnetwork.com. Now, let's get on with the show. All right. So, like I said, I want to welcome everybody out there to this week's edition of the Northern Nerdcast. My name is Dan Schessel, and of course, we have none other than the greatest, most gorgeous co-hostess, Chelsea Thompson. That is correct.
Me? What are you talking about? You can't be talking about me.
Of course. We are super excited to have you. Once again, this is 2 weeks in a row, Chelsea.
Is it? I
thought you were here last time.
Didn't I miss last week?
No, I think we did. I didn't do one last week. It was 2 weeks ago. I'm sure you were.
Yes. So
yes, you were here.
You were
here for Necessary Evil and this one.
Yes, I have been here for the broadcast that we have had, the last two broadcasts that we have had, but last week we didn't have a guest. So that's why I was thinking. Yeah. But yes, after being away for a while, I am now back in the co-hosting seat.
Yes.
Back in the saddle again.
Getting that butt groove kind of.
Yeah. Making sure that my spot is still just the way I left it.
Yes. And we are super excited to have you with us. And also on this edition, yes, your spot is still here. And on this edition, we also have it's James, right, from Unjustified Gaming.
Woohoo!
And we are going to be talking about esports tonight, right?
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Why not, eh? No big deal. It's all good. And so, we got all that awesomeness up. I didn't ask you before we started the show. Do you have something from your nerd shelf? Because we do like to get to the heart and soul of everybody that we have on this show.
And even if you don't have it to show us, you're certainly
welcome. This is an audio podcast
to talk about it.
Yeah.
I have a karambit from CS:GO.
Mm-hmm.
Now explain what a karambit is.
A karambit is a kind of knife.
A really cool blade.
It's a really cool blade, yeah.
Yeah.
CS:GO's what got me into esports, so I had to get played from CS:GO.
It's
so now we're going to bring out the
curved.
The
it's meant to mimic animal claws.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we have a sword nerd on our show. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you start bringing up weapons of some sort of any kind of nature, especially bladed ones, and we definitely have someone who can explain exactly in detail what. Do you know the historical significance of this?
Not as much as some of my other compatriots, sort of in the FDC world and in the stage combat world and in the HEMA world. HEMA definitely gets a little bit more into the historical significance and accuracy of weapons. I mean, I just know it because it's cool. And funnily enough, somebody I know has been doing a whole bunch of karambit choreography recently. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. So I'm going to just start off here just by kind of asking everybody how their sort of the week has been. So, James, how's your week been? What have you been up to?
It's been good. I've doing a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff for my team. We're signing new rosters for Gears of War. Our Smite team started off their league. They won their first match, which is great. And then I started a new job on Monday. So,
what kind of job?
I'm a second-year Milk apprentice.
Sorry, what?
Nice.
So I build kitchen cabinets, vanities, that kind of stuff.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. And how about yourself, Chelsea? It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks. It's been good. Chicken away. Had a couple background days on set and submitting for some more projects and yeah, fun trips to IKEA. My good friend Nikki, who has just moved to town, the friend that I drove from Toronto back to Vancouver with at the end of February. I've been helping her house hunt and get her place all set up. And this weekend we are on an expedition to get her a kitty cat. So,
Ooh.
Yeah.
Cats are always fun to get other people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want them into my house. I don't like kitty litter. I'm sorry.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I will concede the point. Kitty litter is probably the least fun part of owning a cat.
But I will sit at your house at any time and pat your kitty.
Yeah, so this is the thing I'm most excited about because she is a dear, dear friend of mine. She knows how my heart pitter-patters wildly for furry feline friends. And sadly, I'm not allowed to have my own where I live. So I believe I am getting a key to her apartment and I can come harass her cat whenever I want.
I need a key now for your apartment.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because I need to pat your cat.
Yeah, obviously.
Obviously. Not for you, just your cat. I mean, really, this is not your cat. This is my cat.
My cat, really. Yeah. You're just holding it for me.
You're just holding it for me.
And how about you, Daniel?
I got to finally see Captain Marvel on the weekend there.
Nice.
Yes, it was a good movie. I don't want to spoil anything for any other people because it's pretty fresh out there. So, and we don't do that on the show. But it's definitely well worth going to check it out. Makes me more excited for the Avengers movie that's coming up.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
Oh my goodness!
Soon.
Soon. And have you guys seen those new posters that came out?
Next week? The 4th? April 4th, right?
Yes. Is it next week? Oh my goodness.
Next week.
Really? Oh my goodness. That's so soon.
Is it April 4th? I'm pretty sure it's April 4th, which is next week. Oh, May 4th? Oh, damn it.
Okay, I'm like, wow, that's way.
I'm so excited. I'm a week.
I'm
a month ahead.
A whole month ahead. Okay, no, that makes more sense. Yeah, I'm
26th of April.
All right, we are changing all the dates.
I have no idea what I'm talking about, although that's not unusual.
Here, and yet, that's all good. Yes. So, anyways, so I got to see Captain Marvel, which is awesome. Definitely go check that out before you go see Avengers. That's my thing. And again, talking about cats, definitely the best part of that movie.
Yeah.
Anyways, no spoilers. What else do we have? I'm looking forward to this weekend coming up. I've had a lot of weekends off the last little while, so it's been kind of nice. I've been able to get home and play with the kids and stuff like that. It's been great. But anyways, this weekend I got another weekend off here, and I'm going to be going to the Oiler game with my kid.
Nice.
Because a few weeks back, I don't know if I really mentioned this on the show. Maybe I did or not. I'm not sure. Anyways, he won a little package from Boston Pizza that he got to be an Oiler for a day. And
nice.
Part of that whole deal was that he got 2 tickets to the Oiler game. And so, of course, I'm going to have to take him. The seats are pretty good, too. So they're nice and low. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun, especially for your first time, right? So it'd be good to go and spend some extra quality time with the board. Yeah. So anyways, that is it. Why don't we just take our first quick little break here, and then we will come right back and we will chat with James a little bit more about some esports stuff.
Things.
Esports, sport, and things. All right. So this episode of the Nerdcast is brought to you by the Edmonton Public Library. Yes. Right now, actually, if you go onto the Edmonton Public Library website, if you go Edmonton Public Library EPL, let's start over that again because I'm wording really well tonight. Go to epl.ca/podcast, and the Edmonton Public Library has their own podcast. It's right. And right now, their podcast is called Overdue Finds. And it's all about, books, movies. It's got some. Hang on. Yeah, it's hosted by Bryce Crittenden. Oh, of course I did that. And Caroline Land. And they discuss movies, books, and pretty much anything that's sort of pop culture and media that you can think of, and likely some of the things that you've never really thought of. You'll also learn more about what you can find at the library, which, by the way, is a lot more than you probably expect. I don't know if you've been to the library in the last little while. It is quite. They got like podcast booths, like recording booths, and all sorts of crazy stuff there now. It's insane. And so
libraries are awesome.
They are, and they also have like computer places, like computer science lab kind of things, 3D printers, all sorts of fun stuff. So go check that out. That's Overdue Finds podcast, and you can find that at epl.ca/podcast. And that is that. And they also have right now, they have March Madness, the best movies based on books. And I think that's coming down to the wire now. So it's like semifinals for that. And they're going to duke it out. I think up last was Princess Bride against Beauty and the Beast. And Princess Bride has beat out Beauty and the Beast. Just saying. So if you want to get into that action, go check out epl.ca/podcast. All right. So like I said, on today's show, we have James with us from Unjustified Gaming. And let's just start off a little bit about what Unjustified Gaming is.
So we're primarily an esports organization, but we also have a content creation team. So we specialize in mostly FPS esports, Gears of War, Call of Duty, CSGO, but we also expanded recently into games like Smite and fighting games like Tekken 7. And then as far as our content team goes, it's mostly streamers that all kind of support each other and work together.
So a lot of our listeners and viewers are gamers, but for people out there like me who happily watch other people play video games but aren't necessarily gamers ourselves, can you tell our listeners and viewers a little bit about what is esports? What is it? What is it you guys do?
So esports is basically highly competitive gaming. You play in tournaments and leagues against other teams or individual players, depending on the game you're playing. And it's pretty much every kind of game you can think of, whether it's an FPS or a MOBA, they all have esports. So there's an online and a LAN kind of variant of esports. Online is usually very small scale, small teams, small prize pools, whereas LAN tournaments can get to the point of millions of dollars in winnings per tournament.
Where you assemble your team and actually go to some place and play other teams that are there, right? Awesome. And then, 2 teams enter, 1 team leaves, 2 teams enter, 1 team leaves.
Exactly.
You battle to the virtual death. I can dig it.
So what got you excited about esports in the first place?
Well, it kind of started off, I was playing just competitively with my friend before we really started an organization. We kind of kept getting better and better, and then we decided we needed a home. So we built Unjustified Gaming from the ground up from that point. Just we were kind of outcast. We didn't have a team, and we wanted a team, so we made our own. And it kind of just grew from there.
And yeah, you guys have been growing like gangbusters. Before we came on air tonight, I checked out your website, and from what's posted there, I gather you guys recently entered your first like big tournament.
Yes, we competed at CWL Fort Worth, which is a major event for Call of Duty. So we placed 6th out of 198 teams, somewhere around there.
Woo woo!
Which is a pretty good placing. I'm very happy with it.
That's more than pretty good.
For your first big outing, that's rad. Way to go. So how many of you guys traveled down? How many team members, how many players traveled down to this thing?
We sent 5 players and a photographer.
Nice.
Yeah. And it was in Texas.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I mean, I know esports is growing in Canada. So what are you finding sort of as you branch out more and register for more tournaments and Unjustified Gaming itself grows? Are you finding, is there a marked difference between the way esports is evolving here in Canada versus south of the border? Because I feel like it's been around in the States a little bit longer, and the mentality and sort of the energy around it can be a little bit more kind of up there.
Definitely taking it a lot more serious in the States. There's a local event for almost every esport, like every weekend. Like I think there's 4 Call of Duty events in the next 2 weeks. Whereas in Canada, there's very rarely events. So it's definitely taken more serious in the States. You know, most parents are more okay with their kids spending 10 hours a day on video games, I guess you could say.
So looking at how fast you're growing and your eyes to the future, is that something that you potentially are hoping to grow into or branch out into, is starting, you know, to maybe organize or host a large tournament up here and hopefully draw some players from elsewhere to a tournament up here? Is that something you...
It's definitely a possibility to get to that point. Right now, there's only one really major tournament hoster in Canada, and it's known as World Gaming. So they host tournaments for most esports, and it's all based in Toronto, though. That's where all their events are. So it's kind of... It helps, but it doesn't solve the problem, right?
Yeah.
People in BC and Alberta can't really spend the money to get to that event very easily.
But I mean, what are you talking about? Toronto's the center of the universe, right?
Exactly, right?
Everyone can afford to go to Toronto.
Yeah.
Everything happens there.
Yeah. Yeah, how come you're not already there? So let's just kind of start off a little bit more about how like Unjustified Gaming's sort of became an entity as itself. Like, what was the kind of the moments for you guys that decided, you know, this is it. We're just gonna go all in. We're gonna create this this entity now.
Well, so when we first made the team, it wasn't really an organization. It was more just a name for our team, right? And then we got into a game of a release of Call of Duty that I personally did not like. So I kind of stepped down from competing and just decided to run the org full time, and that's kind of where it started blossoming into an actual organization and becoming something. Then from there, I retired per se of playing competitively. I've been focusing on running the team and growing and tracking other rosters and sponsors, and it's kind of gone from there.
And when was this for you guys? Like, how long have you guys been doing this for?
We started the team technically in 2015, but it wasn't really an active thing until mid 2017.
And so on the flip side, with your content creation, with the rise of Twitch, again, looking on your website, I see right now you've got 2 main streamers that do a lot of the streaming for you. Do you have more gamers who are approaching you or who are coming up saying, that's something I'd love to be a part of or to do for you? With the way Twitch is, again, growing and exploding, is that something you see growing as well, adding more gamers to your live streaming roster?
Ideally, we were trying to add at least 5 more content creators in general, whether it's streamers or YouTubers. The issue is not a lot of streamers are looking for smaller teams. They all have their eyes set on, like, you know, the top orgs, the ones that make millions of dollars a year, and then they don't get those opportunities because they're not big enough, but they think they're bigger than they are. So usually, as far as finding streamers and YouTubers, we have to reach out to them first. So usually we don't get reached out to ourselves.
But that's cool. I mean, I feel like it's a great way for, like you said, creating this community within Edmonton, that, you know, maybe people who have this thing that they want to do and may not know that there's an outlet for them to do it sort of in a communal way, which I think is really awesome that you guys are there.
Very true.
So let's just kind of sort of talk a little bit about what it's like for you guys. Like, I want to know sort of how the system for you guys are kind of structured. Are you guys like all over the place? Are you guys kind of centralized, or what's the deal with this?
As far as our players, or
yes, as players and sort of like your management as well.
Our management is a little all over the place. We kind of all do everything, just because we're not quite big enough to have definite roles. We just kind of all help where's needed. And as far as our teams, it's all over North America. We have players.
Where do you
That's cool.
So let's go through some of your players just for your Call of Duty team. Like, where's your team sort of for Call of Duty?
So most of our Call of Duty team is based around Illinois and California. They're kind of the two big places where we have players. And then they travel to events all over, I guess, the Midwest region of America. Now,
does that specific team do they kind of get together more and compete together?
They attend about 3 events a year usually.
That's awesome. Now, how about and what about other events like that are just not online, or how do you like do tournaments that are sort of more online and not? Sorry.
In person.
Yeah, in person.
So how the tournaments in person or tournaments online? Sorry.
No. How does tournaments online work for you guys?
So tournaments online, there's multiple league and tournament hosters for the most part on Twitter, and basically you enter. If it's a prize pool, you have to pay to enter, and then you play in a round robin kind of bracket.
So let's go back to sort of what it's kind of like for other people out there who see all this esports, gaming, and all this other stuff. It's just exploding right now. What do you say to those people out there who are kind of looking for a team? They're looking for a way to express their love for gaming and their passion for it. And they want to take it to the next level. What do you say to those kind of people out there?
Definitely don't get discouraged. If you don't have a name yet, you're obviously not going to get a great org off the bat. You need to build up some clientele. You need to play for some smaller teams, stream for smaller teams, and prove that you're worth larger teams' time. If you have 5 followers on Twitch, you're not going to be landing a giant org right away. You have to get to a point where you're at least established. So don't get discouraged in that point of getting to that area. That's what a lot of players go wrong is they try it. In a month of time, they haven't gone where they want to be, and they just kind of stop.
Yeah. What is like for more people out there who are sort of like unfamiliar with the esports sort of scene, like where can people like find all this stuff? What is the things that passion you like gets you excited about esports? And where do people find that kind of stuff?
Well, esports for me that makes me excited is definitely watching teams play, which it's always a good time. That's usually on Twitch. There's honestly, if you go to any game and you look on Twitch, you're gonna see usually pro leagues and tournaments as the top views, so they're fairly easy to find. And for me, it's kind of like sports. You got to find a team you got to root for them, and it really helps the experience of your team you're cheering for.
So, what sort of teams are you looking at right now?
As far as for our org,
yeah, it's just for you to cheer for. Like, which ones are you thinking? Oh man, these guys are awesome.
Personally, there's a team I cheer for. It's called Team Caliber. They've kind of been. I've always been a fan of them, but I guess kind of set in my own org. I usually cheer for us too.
Yeah, well, I'm not talking about you. So for
to cheer for, like, as a person coming into it, usually a team with a very big fan base is always fun to cheer for. You can find a lot of people that you connect with them. Like, there's a couple of teams that they're surpassed like the 10 million follower point mark, and they're usually a very active chat on Twitch. You can mesh with them fairly easily, and usually they win anyway, so it's kind of nice.
And how about for yourself? Like when people are looking to join, like if someone's out there right now, they're watching this show. Do you guys have like open spaces for people to come and join part of your team, or are you looking to expand more, or like? let's talk about getting into this.
Our stream team is always open for expansions. All it takes is just DMing us. We'll have someone come watch your stream for a few hours. If we like you, we'll let you know when we want you on the team. Esports is a little more complicated. We're mainly looking for full rosters, and obviously, if it's a solo game like a fighting game, you don't need a roster. But we're looking for full teams for the most part, or at least partial teams, and at least some sort of establishment already, whether you played in tournaments or online or at LANs or anything.
Very cool. I want to go back for a second, and people who watch our show regularly can attest. I was like finding out how these amazing endeavors get started and where the kernel of the idea comes from. So can you talk a little bit about like your memories of when you were first introduced to video games and like some of your favorite video gaming memories, some of your favorite games that you loved to play growing up, and how that progressed like to get to the point of like where you were sitting on your couch one day and was like, yeah, I think I could do this competitively. Talk us through that sort of progression of like first introduction to video games through the formation of Unjustified Gaming.
So it all started, I bought an original Xbox from a garage sale, and I fell in love with the original Halo was kind of what I first started on.
Mm-hmm.
And it was mostly just me and my friends playing in my basement together on like a Saturday afternoons kind of thing. And it was all good fun. And then for Christmas that year, I got an Xbox 360. And that's kind of where I started at least playing online, I guess. Mostly in Halo again and in Call of Duty. And then as Call of Duty went on and I realized I was at least decent at the game, I kind of started getting more and more competitive with my friends and against other people in lobbies. And then I found out about a platform called Game Battles, which is basically an online tournament and match hosting website. Basically, you can chums of the teams for money, play in tournaments, all that kind of stuff. And that's where I really fell in love with esports and competing, I guess. And then from there, yeah, I met what was our old co-owner, who's still a great friend of mine. We started teaming together and playing, and that's when we, I guess, birthed UG.
Nice.
Yeah, I going back to you were talking about like the original Xbox. I remember having like when it was back in the day when I had one. I still have it. It's just in the basement.
The month of my room.
Anyways, I remember there was a game, Rainbow Six 3. I loved that game, and I remember we used to have to go online all the time because there wasn't really any sort of like clans online, like in the game, right? Like there was, you had to actually go online. You had to create a clan on some sort of website, and then you would get hosted. Like you'd have to like either host a party for somebody, and then you would have to get everybody. It was such a weird, crazy time back then when I was doing that more competitive gaming.
Back in my day,
I tell you, all that stuff I had to go uphill both ways.
Both ways on the way to school.
Yeah, just to start gaming, I tell you. And then I had to like fire up the old router with my hand jack and that was not a thing. I just remember so fondly just gaming competitively more when I was younger. Obviously I can't do that nowadays. I've got jobs and wives and kids and stuff like that. Makes things a little bit harder. But I mean, we used to have a pretty good team when I was younger. But yeah, it's such a great thing now. Again, like for people who are out there, is there some sort of encouragement that you can give to people to like, get them into esports?
So say that again.
I want to know, like, from you, like, what's the thing for you that really gets you going, like, and for other people, like, if you can say anything to other people who are out there who are watching this, like, why esports? What is that thing that really makes it special?
It's special because I think for me it's the way of the future. It's rapidly growing. It's almost on par with professional sports. I'm pretty sure the total views for esports tournaments is going to pass the NFL this year. Like it's growing at a substantial rate. It's going to be. It's definitely the way.
Kind of mind blowing.
It is. Like, it's kind of shocking to think about that. Like 3 years ago, this stuff was averaging like 10,000 views in a year. Now it's reaching billions. Like it's kind of. The other big thing about esports that's really built up in the last year or two is the endorsements and the sponsors and stuff. Like 2 teams right now just partnered with Nissan. Like nothing to do with gaming.
Oh, life's so tough sometimes.
Right?
And there's another place in the States there that they're actually building a new esports arena.
Yes.
Other than the Vegas one. The Vegas one's already there.
Yeah, Vegas has been there for a while. There's another one that's it's for an Overwatch team.
Yeah. I can't remember where that was now. But yeah, that's crazy that they like we're coming to this point now where they're actually building
stadiums. Yeah,
stadiums specifically for esports.
Yeah, because up until at least the last few years, I guess last year, you've rented out movie theaters and ballrooms and kind of stuff for the events. Now it's actual
San
stadiums.
Francisco. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's crazy.
I was gonna say it's got to be someplace in California.
Yeah. So I do have a question from one of our listeners here, and he's saying if there was one game in the competitive scene that either you wish was more common or was not an esport league-based game, or was more common or was not.
Either give us the flip-flop. Give us one you wish people would play more, or one that you think is overplayed that you wish people would stop playing.
Yes.
I love Call of Duty, but I think Call of Duty is very much overplayed. It's kind of a joke of esports a little bit because the Call of Duty professionals are kind of a little soft. So it's a very much overplayed game because I said like the event that we played 6 at, there was almost 200 teams, and there's events like Gears of War who have 40 teams, and it's kind of like Call of Duty is very much overhyped, and a lot of the players don't realize that they're not going to make it to professional.
So I have a technical question for you. I mean, we're talking about esports, so I guess this is kind of like the equivalent of cross-training, because you can register for tournaments for the games you and or your teammates want to play, and ostensibly you've been practicing playing them. They will be on a system that you've been playing on, and some games cross over platforms, but not all of them. Do you find as an esports gamer it's valuable to play across platforms?
As far as esports go, usually they select one platform for the game to be, I guess, noticed on. Like example, Call of Duty is a PS4 exclusive right now for competitive. Fortnite is PC. So cross-platform it's a nice concept. It doesn't pertain to esports a whole lot because they'll pick one platform to play it on. But it is nice for playing, I guess, less competitively.
Yeah, when you're talking about competitive against a PC player and like a console player, sometimes because it's the Twitch skills are different, right?
Exactly.
You're using a mouse and keyboard, and you're using a controller. The two are vastly different. You get way more precision with a mouse and keyboard than you'll ever get with a
PC Master Race.
Yeah.
But then I guess going into a tournament, you will know ahead of time what platform the tournament will be running the games on. So then I guess in your like practice or training, is that where using across platforms becomes more beneficial? Like if you have setups at home to if you've been playing a game with a controller and a tournament you want to enter has it playing on PC, is it beneficial then to be able to, get a little practice in at home across platforms?
Yes. A good example again is Fortnite. A lot of professional players started off playing it on PS4 and Xbox, and they announced it's a PC main for competitive. So with another good example of Fortnite is you're allowed to use a controller in competitive because it's considered it's not an unfair advantage. It's almost a downgrade per se. It's harder to use a controller if anything. So cross-platform is useful for that kind of stuff. It's, if you're more comfortable with a controller, you can use a controller.
Cool.
Awesome. All right. So let me just ask you real quick here. Where can people find you? Where can people find Unjustified Gaming and all the goodness that you guys have? Where can they get hooked up? All that kind of fun stuff.
The best to find us is on Twitter for sure. It's kind of our network. Everything links to our website, it links to our YouTube, and that's it's twitter.com/unjustifiedgg.
Awesome.
Nice.
All right, we are going to take another quick, short little break, and we are going to come back. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the events that are happening in the city, and we'll continue on.
That's right. I'm going to talk to you guys about ATB, Alberta Treasury Branches, and how awesome they are. So they are always looking for ways to reach out and cultivate relationships with all the different communities and the eclectic people that populate this wonderful province of ours. Recently, they have created branches specifically for arts and culture, both in Edmonton and Calgary, that are network and career development hubs, performance venues, and branches where artists can come in and talk to associates specifically versed in, the financial ups and downs of being an artist. Working in the arts means your income can be as varied as a time signature or brush strokes. And the ATB branch for the arts and culture was built for artists so that they can do their banking in a way that works for them and have a chance to meet other industry professionals. Creative banking working together. That's why ATB will always be more than a bank.
Creative banking. Mm-hmm. Great creative people.
Yep.
I love it.
Right. Weirdos like us.
That's right. All right. So I got a few events for everyone out there. And we're
Tell us all the things, Dan.
Yeah. So we got Monty Python Spamalot.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is done by the Trinity players. And we have a few dates. So March 28th, 29th, March 30th, and 31st. So I'm going to have, again, I'm going to try to get all these links in the description down below so you guys can find it. You guys can also go to our website, northernnerdnetwork.com, and there you can select this episode, and all the links will be there. So if you need a link, we'll have that for you.
Plus the amazing calendar that Daniel built when he built our amazing website has all of these events on it, so you can go to our calendar page.
The calendar I haven't been updating as much, but on the
episode link.
On the episode, I will have it.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be there. All right, and then so we got that, and then we're moving along. We got Theatresports. Hosted by the Rapid Fire Theater, and this is happening on March 29th. So you guys can go check that out. And I mean, this is pretty much Edmonton's best improvisers, and they're pitted against each other in a fight to the death of whatever. What am I thinking? Improvisation.
Fight to the death of dignity, mostly.
That's right.
If we're talking about improvisers.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's pretty much who can finally embarrass the other person far enough to the...
Mm-hmm.
Also, okay, so moving along, we have on April 4th, we have an awesome event that I'm sure everybody's going to love. And this one is VIP Night of Gaming with the Telus World of Science. And this is hosted by our friends over at Extra Life, and tonight I am also wearing one of their shirts. Just checking out. See it? I can't tell.
We can only see the top of it.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is. Game Day 2018. So yes. So if you love Edmonton Extra Life, all the fantastic work that they do, and you love gaming, and you love gaming on big screens and awesome times together, this is a VIP. I'm talking. They're gonna do it up right at the Telus World of Science. So you're not going to want to miss this. Once again, I'll have the link in the description. So go and check that out. Also, another one from Rapid Fire Theater. We got the Bonfire Festival, and this is happening on April 4th, 5th, 6, 11, 12, and 13th. And so, yeah, this is going to be another good time of just improvisation and awesomeness. And... there we go. We also have on April 20th, Press A to Start. And this is McEwen Game Development Club would like to welcome everyone to their 3rd annual Press A to Start, now a full-day conference. Press A to Start 2019 features a full set of panels on the nuts and bolts of game development, from game design, VR, storytelling, and marketing. Our showcase floor is bigger than ever, and hosting a wide array of local talent across the province. Join us on April 20th in celebrating the best in games and interactive media that Alberta has to offer. So if you love games, you love Alberta and Alberta games, it's a whole smashing of
They've got you covered.
They got you covered. So go and check that out. And that is happening on April 20th. Moving along, we have on April 25th to 28th. That's right. We have the Calgary Expo. And it is going to be down in Calgary at the Calgary Stampede Park. And they got Linda Carter coming.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Zachary Levi. It's going to be who's Shazam. Yeah. And Chuck. I love him in Chuck.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. And I think that was one of my favorite shows of all time. And it was super. It's the show that nobody ever watched.
I don't know. Didn't it run for like 5 seasons?
It ran for 5 seasons, but every time I talk to people, they're like, man, I never really watched it.
I finished that shit.
It was a great show.
It was a good show.
And that's the problem. Like, everybody binged it at the end. It was a great show. Anyways, and then we got, oh my goodness, losing pages here. Losing pages. Oh, that was it. That's all I have. Calgary Expo.
Up into the Calgary Expo.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. So just tons of awesome events happening in and around the area. So go and check all those fun things out. Nope. Okay, cool. Yes, the expo is going to be huge, Aaron, this year. All right. I want to thank James for coming on the show tonight.
Thanks for having me.
One more time, really quick, where can all the people watching and listening find you guys if they want to reach out, or if they want to watch some Twitch streaming, or if they want to start cheering for you guys at your next tournament?
The best place is twitter.com/unjustifiedgg. It links to all of our other social media from there. That's probably the best place to do it.
Awesome.
And do you have a website as well?
Yes. Unjustifiedg.weebly.com.
Awesome. All right. Make sure you guys go check that out. Go and give them some support, all that fun stuff. So awesome. I want to thank everyone out there for watching or listening to this edition of the Nerdcast. And we want to thank you. We want to thank everyone out there for listening to the show, and ask everyone if you can share it with your friends on social media. The Northern Nerdcast is a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network, powered by ATB, and is produced by myself along with Chelsea Thompson and Trina Schessel. And you can find more information about the Northern Nerd Network by checking us out on our own Twitter at Northern_Nerd, on Facebook.com/Northern Nerd, on YouTube.com/Northern Nerd Network, or on our very own website, NorthernNerdNetwork.com. That's all the time we have, and I want to thank everyone out there for watching and or listening, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye.